YouTube family. Whew. Today is my first mukbang. Today we will be chatting, eating soul food, and laughing just a little bit. I'm hungry, so remember to press that like button if you like my content, share to get my message across in my entertainment, subscribe so you can be a member of my Phoenix family, and subscribe. Did I say subscribe? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, subscribe. Hit that notification bell right at the bottom. No, right there, right at the side. And yeah, let's eat. Now pass the peas like you used to do. Ah. All right, y'all. My first mukbang. This is soul food. Yeah, this is my cheat day, y'all. It's time to eat. All right, so we have here yams, black eyed peas, ribs, chicken wings. Yes. You get some of that. You see that? Woo. What else we got? We got cornbread. Got to have cornbread. You're going to have some greens. You see it? And we have macaroni and cheese, beef short ribs, oxtails, and greens. Yes! All right, let's eat. So how y'all been doing? I've been doing okay. Guess I'll be talking about my first 30 days on YouTube since today's my 30th day anniversary. Woo! Yay! Can y'all see my food? Ooh, macaroni. Oh my God. Y'all, I've been eating boiled chicken and baked chicken and fish. Oh my. And salads and stuff. Wait a minute, just I just want to taste it. Before I start talking, I just want to taste it just a little bit. So yeah. Oh my God. No, I'm not crying. Maybe a little bit. This is so good. Shout out to Doolin's Soul Food. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love the gristle. Y'all. Oh my God. Ooh. Ooh, pass the peas like you used to do. I don't know what to go to first. Yeah, but my first 30 days on YouTube was a learning experience. I'm having fun. I say compared to my first day to now, which was August 24th, my birthday, yeah, Virgo, shout out. It's totally different now. I finally learned where the closed captions are. I mean, for 2 whole days, I was like, where is these closed captions and why are they closed? If they was open, we could find them. I don't know that. But I've upgraded my video. You know, everything's working out. I think I'm at 61 subscribers now. I'm getting positive feedback. I got one hate comment. And that was on Instagram, but you know, I just pray for them people. But they don't understand me, they just don't understand me. What can I do? But yeah, make sure you guys check out my videos so you can see what I'm talking about. My plan was to come out first to let you guys know what I'm about, how I was born, how I was raised, my childhood up until now, my life and my college experience, and just my life experiences, period. And now I'm at a mukbang, my first mukbang. I did my first muk prank. I'm hungry. My first prank and WAP challenge video. Check that out. Yeah, I mean, I just been having fun with YouTube. It's been a little stressful because I don't understand the technicalities and the algorithms, but I think I finally kind of figured it out in the tags and all of that, and I'm getting it. Oh yeah, you guys check out my playlist too, because everything that I went through in my experiences and what I've learned, I put in my playlist called Growing Your YouTube Channel. Bye. Just like these macaroni and cheeses. Cheese, please. Y'all don't even know. Because I'm going to have to go back on a fast and drinking water and stuff and doing planks again. And crunches. Oh my God. I don't even want to think about that right now. Oh my God. Where'd my rib go? I don't know. Oh my God. Oh my God. Beef short rib. Oh my God, you see this beef short rib? Got a little mac on it. Oh my God. Ooh. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Woo. Oh my God. Oxtails. Y'all see these oxtails? I'm sorry. I forgot I was on video. This food, y'all. Bye. Yeah, but now on YouTube, I'm just looking at my algorithms and checking my charts and stuff, and hopefully I'll get enough viewers and subscribers and stuff. You know what I mean? You know, to be an official YouTube creator. That's my goal, to entertain you guys, and do more mukbangs, give me an excuse to eat and cheat on my diet. No, for real. And you know, y'all get to know me better. I'm gonna do some collabs with family members and stuff, and friends. I'm just ready. I'm ready for this experience, because I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna use to eat and take too. Yeah. These yams taste like sweet potatoes. I know that sounded weird. Sweet potato pie, man. I'm talking gibberish because I'm happy. Ooh, and you know what? I hate this. You know you greedy when you eat, when you start sweating. I got hot. And y'all see the fan on me. I'm just hot. And shout out to Shakendra. She reached out to me and complimented my videos and stuff, and I appreciate that, and I love your content. A lot of people, few people reached out to me. I appreciate you guys, for real. Yeah, they were just total inspirations. I'm addicted to their pages. What else? I learned so much on how to put a video together, how to record videos, and do different types of videos. I mean, I actually watched the videos and went through the classes, and I love it. Now I'm obsessed with it. I don't know. I mean, 30 days in, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. You guys are going to go through a lot of adventures with me. Weight up, weight down, eating, not eating, attitude, happy, sad. I'm a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but anyway, back to this macaroni and cheese. Oh my God, do y'all see what I'm talking about? But yeah, oh my God. Woo! Oh my God. I'm sorry I'm not saying much. Food mesmerizes me. I don't even know where I'm at when I'm eating. Wow. Something about these short ribs though. Dillins. Oh my God. It's so tender. I don't know what to say, y'all. I just like meat. And cornbread and greens and stuff and all that stuff. It's just, oh yeah. Future videos, I'm gonna do a wing challenge, 100 wings. That ain't nothing. I mean, you know, 100 wings challenge. I could eat 50 straight, 25 for sure. You know what I mean? No cap. What else? I'm gonna be doing way more pranks. My cousin lived next door to me. She did a prank on me, and I cannot get it off of Facebook. Check my Facebook out, Chris Phoenix. Phoenix Rising. I'm sorry, Pheonix Rising. That's my Facebook. Check that video out. Oh my God, she got me though, y'all. I gotta do a revenge prank on her. And my cousins. There's like 3 cousins over there. I got to get them. Whew. Of course, more of these mukbangs. I don't know. I'm gonna bring back a couple of my dear diaries. I got plans. Gotta upgrade my equipment, cause baby, it's right there. It's not. Oh my God, these yam stuff. Woo. Oh my God. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. Do y'all know? I don't think so. I wish y'all did though. Okay. Some of my foodie favorites. Let me see. My favorite food in the world is spaghettis. I could eat them if there was nothing else in the world. Bye. What else? I like Italian food, period. Chicken Alfredos. Bye. What else? Lasagnas. Enchiladas. And Taco Tuesday. Yeah, tacos. Yes. I love all of that. But yeah, but my ultimate favorite is spaghettis. Oh my God. And I was kind of nervous about this mukbang because I don't know how mukbangs go. But, I mean, it's like a story time with food. I'm just eating. Yeah. But next time I probably have somebody eating with me. You know what I mean? We'll collab with the baddie. Somehow. My family's scared to get on camera. My hair not done. I'm not ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. But yes. This was a short video, but it was a nice little mukbang and talk with you guys. Oh my God. I'm low-key full. But I'm almost finished. But yeah, this is gonna be my Florida mornings. I call my Florida mornings my little snack for later. Whatever's left in my plate, basically. So yeah. Oh yeah, remember to like my content, subscribe to my channel, share if you love my content, and hit that notification bell on the side. And remember to like this mukbang. Soul food mukbang. Yes, sir. Let me just get a little bit more there. Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you, I got some peach cobbler. Who don't go to Doodles and don't get no peach cobbler? Yes. You see it. You see it. You see it. Y'all don't even know. Y'all really don't. This is serious. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be full. Alright, y'all. I love y'all all for free, and thank you for watching. Expect more. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Love y'all.